So, let's move on to games from other leagues. You've got Serie A, Juventus drew their game against Sassuolo 1-1, a disappointing draw for the for Juventus, for Spalletti's side. AC Milan won 3-2, though, against Torino 3-2. Very, very important win for AC Milan, considering qualifying for the Champions League next season, because they are way behind Inter Milan, but they get the win against Torino, and that's the most important thing. And listen, AC Milan are not going to challenge for the title. Yes, I know they are 5 points behind, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna win the league. And if they're gonna win the league, then they had the chance to win it last week, where Inter dropped points, but AC Milan didn't capitalize on it. But very good win for. Very important win for Milan, whereas Juventus they dropped points, which is a blow to Juventus' qualification for the Champions League next season. And for them to draw against Sassuolo, where Sassuolo are kind of mid-table, is it's not acceptable for the standards of Juve. And so again, they should win, but they didn't win. Bayern Munich continued their excellence in the Bundesliga by destroying Union Berlin 4-0. Very comfortable win for Bayern. They're 9 points clear with 7 games to go, and they should go on and win the league. Harry Kane scored once again. Serge Gnabry actually finally stepped up, scoring 2 goals. Elise keeps doing his brilliance once again, and he scored once again for Bayern, and it was another comfortable win for Bayern Munich. PSG bounced back in the French league. In Champions League they looked very strong, but in the French league, where they lost against Monaco, they bounced back by destroying Nice 4-0. Goals from Zaire Emery, Pedro Fernandez, Desire Doué, and Nuno Mendes. They're now 1 point clear of Lens, but they have an extra game, so they should win that game on hand, and they will go uh, uh, 4 points clear of Lens. And by the way, they still have to play Lens away from home, between the Liverpool game and the Liverpool second leg. So they're gonna play. Basically they're gonna play against Liverpool 8th of April, against Liverpool at home in the first leg, and then the 11th of April against Lens, and 14th of April against Liverpool away in the second leg. Is League A and Lens gonna help? PSG cancel that game, and for themselves to be prepared for that game against Liverpool. I don't know, because I don't think Lens would want that game to be postponed, because they're also fighting for the title. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, obviously I think if you lose Enrique, you're playing strongest team in those 3 games. You don't rest players. Um, yes, even if PSG lose to Lens, then PSG should still go on and win the French league. But like, if you want to win both, I don't think you should rest players for the Lens game. Of course, for not Liverpool, but for the Lens game, no, absolutely not, because Lens are fighting for the title with them. What if Lens beat PSG and Lens go on to win the French league, and that was because of Lens win against PSG. So I don't think Luis Enrique and PSG would rest players, even though they should go on and win the French league, even though if they lose to Lens. But like, why would they rest players for that game? And I don't think the French league and Lens will want that game to be postponed, because obviously PSG did a similar thing to against Lens to help themselves to be prepared well against Chelsea. So, but yeah, let's see what happens. Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur against Nottingham Forest, a huge game for both clubs, considering they're trying to avoid relegation. Um, I mean, Tottenham Hotspur, they've been in better form recently. They managed to win against Atletico Madrid. They drew to Liverpool away, where they put in a good fight. So, but does that mean 2 games are back? They are back. Not yet. I don't think it's the right time yet to reach that judgment, because you still have to wait and see in other games. And but this game will tell us more about Tottenham, whether they really improved or not, because it's a huge game. It's a pressurized situation for Tottenham, considering they are playing against one of their rivals in avoiding relegation. So it's a game that both teams have to win. It's a kind of a relegation 6 pointer, let's say. So yeah, huge game for both clubs. And yeah, Tottenham, they're at home. The fans will be up for it, I'm pretty sure, even though they don't like being in a relegation battle. But my prediction, I'm going for a 2-1 win for Tottenham. I think Tottenham win 2-1. I think so. Aston Villa against West Ham, I'm going for. Aston Villa have been very poor out of form, and West Ham. I mean, Aston Villa have been very poor out of form, but they're still fourth somehow, which shows how inconsistent Chelsea and Liverpool are. For my prediction, I'm going for. West Ham have been very good recently as well, so it's difficult to say. I'm going for a 2-2 draw for that game. The tie-wet derby between Newcastle United and Sunderland. Huge game between these two. Obviously, there's a huge rivalry between these two, of course, between the fans and the cities. Um, Huge game for both. Obviously, this game means a lot to both fans. I mean, I saw some Newcastle fans who preferred even to win this game than the Barcelona game on Wednesday, which is crazy. But that tells you everything you need to know about the rivalry and how much it means to them. And both fans generally. So yeah, I mean Sunderland, they are comfortably going to survive relegation, no problems. However, they're not far away from the European places. So is Newcastle United as well. I mean Newcastle United are out of all competitions, so they have only the Premier League to focus on. And if they want to do well for the season, and if they want to save their season, because it's not been an easy season for Newcastle, is to get European football at least, finish seventh place or sixth, and qualify for the European competitions next season. However, if they beat Sunderland at home, um, if they beat Sunderland at home, if I'm not mistaken, they're not going to be far away from Liverpool. They're going to be only 4 points behind Liverpool. So again, could they get fifth and get Champions League football? Should that Champions League spot be earned for next season, and that fifth spot could be on the cards, an extra spot for the Premier League. Who knows? Let's see what happens. But yeah, it's a huge game for both clubs. Obviously, Sunderland, they beat already Newcastle in December, and they're comfortably going to survive, no problems for Sunderland. However, Sunderland will also want to beat Newcastle massively, especially in their own place. My prediction, I'm going for. I think Newcastle will win that. They're at home. They're a better form right now, I would say, even though they got smacked by Barcelona. They're in better form. They just beat Chelsea, so I think Newcastle will win it. The fans will be up for it. They're at home. It will give them something extra. So I'll go for a 2-0 win for Newcastle. Carabao Cup final between Arsenal and Manchester City. The big game between these both clubs. Huge game. It's Arteta versus Guardiola. It's Arsenal against Manchester City. It's the Premier League leaders against the Premier League. I don't know, former champions, but they were dominating the Premier League for the last 6, 7 seasons, and it's a huge game for both teams. Huge game. Um, you know, Arteta would love to get one over Guardiola. Guardiola would love to get one on Arteta. Um, and Arsenal have a very good lead in the Premier League over Manchester City, over 9 points. Even though City have a game in hand, and they still have to play at home to Arsenal. So massive game for both clubs. Massive game. Arsenal, I think that the last time that Arsenal won a Carabao Cup was in early 90s, which is crazy to think for a big club like Arsenal. Um, and they're also also have a chance to win their first trophy officially, if you want to exclude community shields. First trophy since 2020. So so this is a big move for Arteta and for his players to prove they are there, they're the real deal. And yes, listen, all the work they've done in the past years has been there. They've always been like near the top, even though they haven't won many trophies. But at the same time, if Arteta and Arsenal want to prove they are the real deal, they have to start winning trophies. They have to start winning trophies. Yes, it's all right being very consistently good the last 3-4 seasons and being always in the top two last 3-4 seasons and being Champions League semi-final and reach a couple of semi-finals and reaching Carabao Cup finals. It's about getting it over the line. Trophies are very important. You have to win trophies to prove your progress is there. And this is a big game for Arsenal, and this is a game that uh, they have to prove their progression and where they've been is there. Like complete the piece of the puzzle, let's say. Where yes, you've done really good job. Arteta's done a really good job, and the way that Arsenal have been progressing the last 3-4 seasons is amazing. But this is a game that they have to prove that the progression is still there. Because if you spend that much money and you keep competing for every single season, but you don't win any trophies, then then what's the benefit? If you compete all the time and you spend that much money and you don't win anything, what's the benefit? So this is a big game for Arteta, and I think this is Arsenal's first final, which is crazy. First final since 2020 of a knockout competition, except Community Shield, because Community Shield is obviously over one game. So obviously both records stand out. I mean, Arteta's never lost a final as a player or as a manager at Wembley, and Guardiola's never lost a Carabao Cup final as well. So something has to give in this game. But listen, Arsenal are a better team. They're a better team they're a better team than the Man City. They have a better squad than Man City. But this game will not decide who will win the Premier League, and this game will not, you know, show the difference between the both clubs, because this is a cup final. This is a one-off game. Anything can happen. It's Wembley. It's a different experience. Playing in a Carabao Cup final compared to playing in the Premier League, it's different. It's completely different. And like I said, Arsenal have a better squad and a better team than Man City, but this is a one-off game. Anything can happen. City have got players that can hurt Arsenal, and City have got players that can punish and cause problems for Arsenal, like of Haaland, Phil Foden, even though it's not really good form recently, Semenyo. However, the problems that City will face in this game is that they're not gonna have Mark Gay. They're not gonna. Donnarumma's not gonna start for this game as well. James Trafford will start, whereas Kepa should start for Arsenal also in this final, even though Arteta doesn't want to admit it in the press conference. Um, I think Kepa is a better keeper than Trafford in my opinion. Yeah, Trafford, I know he played all the games in the cup competition, but like, if you in a cup final, you want to put your best team out. It's not like you're playing for one guy. So that's my opinion. Because I think Guardiola should start Donnarumma over Trafford in the final, in my opinion. Kepa is a very experienced goalkeeper. That's fine. But James Trafford is not experienced in this kind of big games. Donnarumma is massively. So yeah. And for Guardiola, for City, obviously this is a huge final um, for them. Obviously, they're out of it's difficult for it's going to be difficult for them to win the Premier League. They're out of the Champions League. So if they don't want to if they don't want to leave their season empty-handed, let's say, this is a chance for them to win a trophy. Obviously, they've got the FA Cup as well, but this is a final, and yes, Arsenal are a better team than Man City, but this is a one-off game, and anything can happen. Man City and Guardiola are experiencing winning trophies, whereas Arsenal they're not. So anything can happen. It's a game that could go in both ways. It's difficult to predict um, because as a head-to-head records, head-to-head between Arsenal and City is difficult. It's difficult to say because Arsenal are a better team, but you want to also see head-to-head to prove it more. But match prediction, I'm going for 1-1 draw, and I think Arsenal will win on penalties. So guys, thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.